So in my head, I said, let me grab him off of him. Boom. And I pushed him to the side. At that point, I still didn't know exactly what's going on. So I said, yeah. I took a step back. I got in position. I said, yeah. Good morning, world. Hey, yo, what's going on? It's your boy FRE H fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's TheFlyBoyway. Don't ask why, just check out the channel. And we're back here again with another story time. Okay, so this story time is going to be about the only time in my 35 years alive I've ever seen karate work in the hood. Now, let me give you a preface to all this stuff before I get to it. First, I always wanted to be a ninja. I was like, when I was a little kid, I was like, I want to be a ninja. It's so cool. It's so cool. And you know, my mother, I live with my single mother and my grandparents, and they used to tell me, hey, you can be whatever you want to be, but a ninja's not a real thing. Like, you ain't gonna be no ninja. So I was like, all right, cool. But you can go to karate if you want. And I'm like, well, karate ain't the same. So then I actually seen a video. It was a movie called The Last Dragon, where there was like a black ninja. And I was like, oh, put me in that karate class. I'm signed up for that karate class. So I went and signed up for AJW, Martial Art Elite Force. It's still around now, but it's probably not the same. And when I signed up for that karate course, I was determined. First day, first month, bang. Second month, bang. Third month came, bang. I finally got my yellow belt. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I got my yellow belt now. Now I can beat people up. I got in like 3 fights and lost all of them. It was more like jumps, but I got into like 3 or 4 jumps and lost all of them thinking I could do it. So by the time I got to purple belt, I'm like, yo, forget this karate. It don't work. This karate junk don't work. So by that time, I was like 14 years old. So when I was turning 15, AOL came out. Now, for those that are on Instagram, for those that are watching YouTube, for those that know about MySpace, for those that know about Facebook, AOL was before all of that. For those that are my age, born in the 80s, and I mean 84, baby, you know that AOL was dial-up. It was the dial-up internet. It was the only way you can get on the internet. And on AOL, they used to, you remember when you used to try to sign on AOL and your parents would go crazy because it would tie up every line in the house, and whenever you signed on, you had to wait, and it went. Okay, now on AOL, there was a chat room called Newark, New Jersey. Now, Newark, New Jersey was a chat room where people, not just from Newark, but people from all over New Jersey would go to this chat room because everybody knew Newark. So you would get the chance to meet people that you probably would never see because we always just stayed in our own hoods. And these people were from Perth Amboy. These people were from South Jersey. These people were from Patterson. There was people from all over. And I just so happened to meet this girl who was in the same city I lived in at the time. East Orange, New Jersey, and her name was Ashley. Now, Ashley was bad. She was cinnamon complexion. She had a slim body, nice backside, nice breasts. I mean, she was bad. I mean, yo, word is born. Ashley was like 1 year younger than me at the time, but I had never really met Ashley in person. I only seen the pictures that we exchanged online. So everybody in the chat room knew the same person, the same people, and it was a guy named John. Now, the age range from everybody was like from 15 to like 23 in the chat room. That's how big the chat room was. Now it will be a little bit weird, but back then it was normal. So John was about like 21, and at the time I was like 15, and Ashley was like 14. So I was like, yo, John said he was going to throw like a get-together because John was always known for his get-togethers in the basement. Now, John was able to throw get-togethers in his mother's house basement because his mother was mad cool. Like, she was one of them ladies, like them older ladies, like she was like 40 at the time, I think. She's one of them older ladies that was like, I'd rather all the kids be like in the basement. Even if they're going to smoke and they're going to do stuff, I'd rather them do it in the basement than to go out on the streets and do it. And I could really appreciate that because she probably saved a lot of us. All right, so John was like, yo, I'm throwing this basement party and I want everybody to come and it's going to be a pajama party. Yeah, boy. So I was like, cool, I'm going to be there. And Ashley said she going to be there. So I'm like, all right, so I get a chance to meet Ashley. And I get a chance to meet a lot of other people there. Mary, I'm changing some of the names because some of them I'm still cool with, and they don't really know the whole story yet. So I'm changing some of the names. And Peach Booty. It was a bunch of them there. So we get down to the party, right? We get down to the party. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm vibing. We playing the music. Now, mind you, John basement is kind of small. He got a cat, so it was kind of awkward, like, to be down there a little bit. But it was dark, and it was mad different women that came from the chat room. I was even surprised. I mean, Tatiana was there. Jennifer was there. It was a lot of people that was there. Miss Brad, it was a lot of people that was down in this thing. So if you're from the chat room, you know what it is. But so we down there, and Ashley finally comes in. So when Ashley comes in, she sees me. She started waving, started coming over to me. I'm like, hey, Ashley, how you doing? Now, mind you, back then, I wasn't fresh. I wasn't the flyboy way. I had just lost a lot of weight because I was overweight and short at one point, and I wasn't as smooth. So when Ashley came over, I had on my, my silk pajamas. It was cool, and she had on some lingerie. So when she came over, she sat on my lap, and I'm like, oh snap! All right, so we talking. And I'm getting a little wood, We sitting around. She just started kissing me. I'm like, oh. So we started making out. Mind you, there's like 20 to 30 people in the small basement around us. And then we were sitting on the couch, and there was 2 people next to us. It was Mary next to us, and it was somebody else next to us. So we sitting on the couch making out, and Mary like, ooh, that look good. Can I get some? So I'm looking like, what the hell are you talking about? So then Mary and Ashley start kissing. Oh, I forgot to mention. Ashley was bisexual. So Mary and Ashley started kissing, and I'm like, oh. So I'm like, while they kissing, I'm like playing with Ashley's box, you know what I mean? Playing with the box. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, like you can hear her moaning and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is strange, it's going down and down. You know, at that time I had no chill because I had just lost the weight. I was getting it in, you know what I mean? So I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna figure this out. So then me and Mary start kissing. And I'm still playing with Ashley box, and all of a sudden, Mary stopped kissing me, and I started seeing people run outside. I'm like, why are people running outside? So then I see Mary get up and go outside. So I'm like, all right, whatever. They all outside. It's only me, Ashley, and like 2 people in here. I'm about to try to whip out a condom and get the business. All of a sudden, somebody come running downstairs. Yo, Keith, John outside fighting. So I'm like, oh man. So I move Ashley to the side, and I get up and start go outside. Boom, boom, boom. What happened? I look in the street, right? And now, mind you, John lived around the Blood area, because my whole growing up, I lived in all different type of hoods. And this time in East Orange, I lived down the hill by a bunch of Bloods by William Street. So John's in the middle of the street, like sitting there fighting, squaring up with a guy. So I'm looking, I'm like, yo, his guy's name I think was Manny Boo or something like that. But all of a sudden, I didn't know John could fight or anything. I just see John start jumping up and down. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, so what you doing? So I see John put his hands up like this. I'm like, yo, John, you play too many video games. What are you doing? So next thing you know, I see John hit the guy with a roundhouse kick, like, boom! And it hit his face, like, boom! And the guy went sideways. So in my head, I'm like, oh, so now I'm moving closer, like, no. There's no way that hit. There's no way that karate move actually worked. Because growing up, I got beat up plenty of times thinking my yellow belt or my purple belt was all that I needed. So when he hit the guy like tumbled and he got back up. So then John stopped. The guy waited for the guy to get back up and started bouncing again. I'm like, yo, what is he doing? What the fuck is he doing? So then the guy goes to rush John with the hit. John goes, boom, kicks the guy square in the face. Blood, everywhere. Now in my head, I'm like, yo, am I watching the movie something? Because karate does not work in the hood. But it's working. It's working. So now I'm like, yo. So the guy like fumbles back. Now the guy's bleeding, so he really can't catch his balance. And all of a sudden you hear, finish him. And you see John running towards him. Full speed. Mind you, there's a barrier of the highway right here. And you see John running towards him full speed. John jumps up in the air. Bam! Kicks him right in the face. Bro, I kid you not. He looked like Luke Kane. I'm like, first of all, he had to jump up so high in the air and to connect with him dead in the face. Yo, I was like, this is not possible. Now, the whole time they was fighting, there was this big brolic dude. He wasn't that tall. He was taller than me. He wasn't that tall, but he was brolic. And now, in the future, knowing this guy, I think his name was Whack, and he was like a 5-star general of the Bloods, but he knew John John, and he knew John John's mother, but I didn't know that at the time. And when John John kicked the guy in the face, I seen Whack going towards John John. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I took karate. I was a purple belt. I just seen karate work for him. I must have been young and it wasn't working then. Now I'm old, it's gonna work. So in my head, I'm like, no, let me stop this guy from running at John John. I didn't know why he was going towards him at the time, but I knew that the guy, the 5-star general, was cool with the guy that was getting beat up. So in my head, I said, let me grab him off of him. Boom. And I pushed him to the side. At that point, I still didn't know exactly what's going on. So I said, yeah. I took a step back. I got in position. I said, Kia! And I hit him. Boy, in my head, I'm like, yo, I just rocked him. He's about to drop to the ground. It's about to be a knockout. I'm about to get so much box after this. You ever see one of the movies when somebody gets hit and their whole body stays still, but their head turns like this, and then they turn their head back? Yeah, that's what happened. So when he turned his head back, he didn't even cock back. He reached forward. He didn't cock back. He reached forward and said, boom. He connected with me, and I kid you not, I was by the curb. I was by the highway divider, and 3 feet away was a car passing. He hit me so hard that the car passing had to swerve out the way, and the girl that was like my little sister, or the girl that I was like her little brother, she had to grab me out the way so the car wouldn't hit me. That's how far he hit me. And then she was like, no, Wack, don't hit him. This is my little brother. Don't hit him. Because Wack was going to kill me. He was going to kill me. You don't understand. I'm not talking about beat you up. That's not what happened. That stuff on TV. No, he was going to kill me. And she was like, nah, chill. It's like my little brother. Don't do that. You know what I mean? And that was the end of the fight. After the fight, I had to reevaluate why my karate didn't work. And karate don't work in the hood. That just was the only time in my life I seen it work in the hood, is when John John used it. But to this day, I'm still going to say karate doesn't work in the hood. And that was another life experience that I've been through in my life that I expressed to you through story time. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. And long story short, I'm teaching my kid boxing. Forget this karate shit. Good morning, world.